Yeah, good afternoon, all. Welcome to this meeting. See, from tomorrow, your internal starts. Um, the portion is very simple. Module 1 complete, and module 4 in that uh, documentation, process, as well as principles. Three different topics are there. Four topics are there. In that planning, we have not completed. So, by leaving that particular planning part, remaining all will be there. Along with that, the fifth module, integration testing. I hope I'm clear with the topics that you will be having for your internals. Module 1, Module 4, not the complete module, leaving, excluding your planning, remaining all will be there. Documentation, process, quality process, followed by principles that you want to have in order to achieve the testing and analysis process. The next part is fifth module. In the fifth module, only integration testing part. Okay, no system testing, only integration testing. Hello, hello. Is it clear with respect to the portions that you are having for the internals? Okay. Yeah. In the last class, we were discussing how this integration testing will be going to happen, right? So it happens in three different categories. One is with respect to the functional dependencies, that is with respect to your specifications. Based on that, how you can just make that, right? So the second one was with respect to your call graph. With respect to the call graph, you will be just invading in the call graph two methods over there. So first one was pairwise, the second one was neighborhood. So based on that, you'll be just writing the call graph. The last part of your integration testing is path-based integration. Under this path-based integration, as it looks similar to your decision to decision path, DD path, what we have analyzed with respect to a single program or single module, whatever we have just analyzed, the same thing will be repeated. Apart from one module, module to module path, how it will be performing, that is nothing but your path, module to module path testing will say it. Few of the definitions we have seen it. Once again, I'll just go through each one of the definition, new and extended definitions. A source node in a program is a statement fragment at which the program execution begins or resumes. So whichever the source node that you want to have it means at that time, particular point of time, that statement fragment should execute or should be the first line of the program where the execution begins or resumes. Anything it can be. Next one is sync node. Sync node is a unit. Uh, Sync node is in a unit is a statement fragment at which program execution terminates. That is the last node of that. Next, the module execution path is a sequence of statements that begins with a source node and ends with a sync node with no interleaving sync nodes. That is, in between, you should not come out. So you need to complete it. Only one sync node should be available. At last, you need to come out of that particular thing. Then we'll call it as module execution path will be available. A message is a programming language mechanism by which one unit transfers control to the other unit. That means you need to call the member, right? So without calling the member, it cannot be returning to that particular path. So for that, a message provides a better understanding in order to transfer the control from one unit to another unit and acquires the response from the other unit also. That is also possible. So one simple path definition and example has been provided here. This is related to our example, what we took it in the call graph, the same thing. Okay, so what they are saying is an MM path is an interleaved sequence of module execution paths and messages. So paths along with the messages depending on that. See here, A1, A2, A3, A4 it will be executed. A4 is a decision making statement. Once the statement gives the output, it gives some messages. That message will be transferred to the second module. That is with respect to your B module here. So with respect to this, the flow goes with respect to the B module. Once the execution comes back to B5, it will be returning back to the A module. But in between, your B2 is going to take some decision. With respect to that, it will be just calling a method with respect to the C module. From the C module, you'll be just having the control back to it. So this is how it will be just going with it. If you want to write the path, then you need to assume it as A1, A2, A3, A4. From A4, message 1 comes. After that, B1, B2 will be taken care. From that, message 2 will be there. So from this particular message to C1, C2. From C2, it will be just going with C4 followed by C5, C5 to C6, C6 to C8, C8 to C9, followed by message 2 returns back to the B2. Once again, from B2, B3, B4. If the loop is there, the same thing will be repeated. Otherwise, from the B4, it will be coming back to B5. From the B5, message 1 will be written back to the call will be written back to the A6. Once this is done, A6 to A7, A7 to A8. This is the path that we'll be just having it with respect to your path design. See, the A1 is the source node and A8 is the sink node with respect to the scenario. So with respect to module A, A1 is the source node, A8 is the sink node. So this is how it will be just taking care. So entire particular integration, if you are just taking care, it means A1 and A8 plays a vital role in starting and ending of the node that you are having it. So path across the 3 units, the same thing that has been explained in detail. What about the dotted lines, sir? Dotted lines is not visited right now. According to our particular scenario, dotted lines will never be visited. See here, check out with respect to this. A4 will take some decision. Based on that, message 1 will be written back to A6. So A5 is of no use. So you can just neglect this. So this path never executes. Understand? So whereas with respect to your C2 also, maximum number of nodes it need to cover means C2, C4, C5. Either it can take C7 or C6, C8 followed by C9. Anything it can go. With respect to that scenario, it will be working. But with respect to B1, all the particular nodes will be available with respect to the transmission or getting involved in executing the entire code. Okay. So details of the path, that is what they have given it. A1, A2, A3, A4 followed by message 1 will be there. From that, B1, B2, message 2 will be coming into picture. C1, C2. It goes on and goes. One message 2 is written. The next one is B3, it will be returning back. So from the B3, it will just continue because B2, it will be returning. The next statement is B3. B3, B4. Once again, the looping happens. That is B2, B3, B4 followed by B5. Message 1 will be written. Once it is written, A6, A7, A8 will be the path. So this is nothing but your entire details of your path, how it will be generated. About the path. So message sense. So in a non-trivial path, there is always a point at which no further messages are sent. So that means that is the last particular node that you are having. Once that particular node is reached, means that is the end. So you cannot receive or you cannot transmit any particular messages over there. So in the example path, unit C is the point of message coincidence. Coincidence is nothing but, see here, from this, once it has written the value, it will not be able to retain it once again. So it will not go with that scenario itself. So that is what they have said. They have just told you with respect to it. See, there is always at least a point at which no further messages are sent. So once that has been delivered, or once your B2 will be completing its task, it will be returning back. Then it will not go to the next particular scenario. That's what it happens with respect to your unit C. In a data-driven program such as NextDate, paths begin and end in this main program itself. That's what it happens. Main program only it starts and main program only it ends. In an event program such as Saturn windshield wiper or something like that, path begins with the unit that senses an event in input event and end in the method that produces the corresponding output event. Okay, next date, what happens? In the next date, see, you'll be having, you'll be calling or you'll be just producing the next date value in the same particular program itself. So main function where it enters, there only it will be ending also. Whereas with respect to your Saturn windshield is nothing but if you are able to imagine the wiper with respect to the car or any four-wheeler or more than two-wheeler vehicles that you can just imagine. Means in that there is a one particular knob available which is used during the rainy seasons when the water is poured on the glass, front glass of the any of the three-wheeler or more than two-wheeler, whichever the vehicle that you just suggest. For that, you need to wipe those particular things so that you can see the outside. You can see very clearly what is happening over the outside. So for that, you require a windshield. So that wiper, whatever you are saying, that unit, it can be it will be working with respect to three different stages or four different stages depending on the uh, vehicle that you are using. So the same thing, if you are just saying it, the input happens with respect to one particular side, and the end of the method that produces the corresponding will be happening. That is nothing but the output event. Output event is wiping. Input event is speed of the wiping. How much speed it will be just increased. High, low, or keeping quiet. High or intermediate also you can have it. So that means slowly it will be wiping. Or you want high. If the rain is very heavy means you need to wipe it very fastly so that you can just clearly see the road which is and you can just move around, right? So that is what it will be meaning with respect to this. See, if you are taking the next date or if you are taking with respect to triangle problem or commission problem, there only it starts with respect to mm path, there only it ends, as we have seen in the previous example. But if you see with respect to event-driven examples like Saturn windshield wiper or something like that, or a currency converter or something else, then where the call has been happened, that is different. Where the output will be produced will be different. So that is how it will be working with respect to your MM path. A DD path is a sequence of source statements. That is agree. A unit or module execution path is a sequence of DD path. That is what they are saying. In a module, whatever the path, entire particular sequence of source statements that you are saying it, that if you just combine it, that becomes your DD path. In an MM path, it's a sequence of unit execution paths. This is with respect to decision making path. This is with respect to the execution, complete execution. Right from the starting till that particular thing ends, you will be taking all the messages along with the messages, where the flow goes, everything you are taking it. That is nothing but your MM path. That is what they are saying here. A system or a thread is a sequence of MM path. That is nothing but one particular scenario. See, for example, whatever the example that we have seen, the strong particular scenario that we have taken, right? So this one is one particular execution. See here, with respect to C2, C3 also can come into picture. With respect to C3, directly C9 comes, then message 2 will be written. So once again, the process goes. So this is one more particular scenario. That's what they are saying it with respect to, yeah, thread sequences. Next one is, taken together, these sequences are a strong unifying factor across levels of testing. They can lead to possibility of trade-offs among levels of testing. What is this levels of testing is all about? See, there are different levels of testing available. If you can imagine the V-shaped model that we have seen it at the beginning of your software testing itself, that you will be referring to the waterfall model. From in the waterfall model, requirements will be the first phase. From the requirements, it will be traversing to the next phase, that is design. From the design, next one is implementation. Once it is implemented, the next part is you will be going for testing. In the testing, the reverse process happens. Implementation, each particular module wise unit testing will happen. From once that particular thing is done with respect to the above one, that is architecture in the designing part. Integration testing will happen from the above that particular level, that is with respect to requirement collection and classification will be taken care, right? So that your system testing or acceptance testing will be taken care with respect to that. So there will be enough amount of trade-offs that is available, which with each level that is going to explore. Each one of it, if you just take one sequence at a time, so all these particular things all will be addressed over there. That's what the meaning here is with respect to your levels of testing that you have. Okay. Next is very important thing, cyclometric complexity for the MM path. So what is a cyclometric complexity is all about? How many paths that I need to just have it with respect to each one of the program graph that I have, that I am having. So with respect to this, the formula to calculate the cyclometric complexity with respect to your path testing, if you are taking it, baseline or anything, if you are just taking it, edges minus total number of edges minus total number of nodes plus 2 if the last node is not connected with the or do not have any edge to the starting node. If the last node is having an edge to the starting node, then it will be 1. That will be giving you the connected regions. So P is equal to 2 or 1 depending on the last sync node. From the sync node to the starting node, is there an edge or not? Depending on that 1 or 2, it will be just taking it, right? Same particular thing here. We always have exactly one connected region. So that's why your complete formula becomes number of edges minus number of nodes plus 1. Now, what are nodes here with respect to this particular scenario? This path. Is it the ordinary program graph nodes or unit or the module execution paths that you are taking it, or a full unit? Normally, it will be taking care with respect to the complete unit of it. It is not with respect to single particular path. Say, for example, yeah, see here. So this entire scenario will be taken care, right? So this is one particular region. 1, 2 closed regions are available. 2, followed by 3 closed regions, followed by 4, followed by 5. 5 followed by the whole one is 6. So depending on this, 6 regions will be available according to our particular scenario. What we have discussed with respect to our particular path testing. Now, if you just apply the same particular scenario, but unfortunately your connected region should be 1. That's what we are saying. So outside region, I need to eliminate it. So how many regions are there? 1, 2, 3 closed regions, 4 followed by 5. So 5 is the complexity of this entire path. 5 path, if you just assume it, or if you just can traverse it, that's more than enough to say whether the given path is right or executing properly or not, without any hurdles, whether it is performing the task or not. Okay, so that's what it is. Adjustments, it is a combination of both ordinary program graph, whatever the simple module that you are having it, how many number of links that you are providing it, along with that the messages will be transmitted, right? That's also one of the edge that we need to take care. So all those particular things along with the returning value as well as the sending of that particular messages, calling of the messages, depending on that it will be just transmitted to it. Everything, it will be nothing but your edges here with respect to this. The solid edges in the second slide shows actual path. That's what they are saying here. See here. Solid edges are there. This is nothing but your path discovery. Yeah. Next one is, there may be a few questions arising at our head. Cyclometric complexity is always understood as a static constructor quantity. What is the cyclometric complexity is always understood as a static constructor quantity. So this many, if you just assume it, then you will be getting a feasible path, or you will be always getting the exact answer, whatever you have understood from that particular requirements that has been provided. So based on that, it will be just giving you the answer, right? That's where we will, how many number of paths we need to just execute with respect to that particular, for that answer, cyclometric complexity gives the answer for it, right? But path are dynamic by definition and design. They're saying that path can change its particular mode anytime, any particular designing phase itself. How? Because it is dynamic. Dynamic in the sense, during the particular execution, if the message turns to the other particular party, then it should stop, means it should stop. So this is how it will be just taking care. Now, how this particular cyclometric complexity plays a vital role in your path. Okay, already we have calculated it, everything is okay. So we are seeing that cyclometric complexity gives how many feasible paths that we can have it in our particular given scenario. Everything is okay, but how good it is, whether it can address all our particular problems, or is it going to change during the execution of the program In the during the execution, if something wrong happens, means it should come out of that particular loop. Whether that scenario happens, means then how you can just justify your particular feasible paths. That path you have not addressed at all. There may be a question. So this happens with respect to your path testing also. But unfortunately, what we are doing is we are just limiting ourselves, saying that we always go with this type of path, whichever the path that is feasible one, we will be selecting the feasible paths itself. Once the feasible paths is over, still more paths I need to identify. Means then we'll go for the infeasible one. So it purely depends on our design. Yeah, they have taken all the particular choices, they have just given it to that particular scenario. See here, with respect to your V1 of G, both ordinary program graph edges and messages minus ordinary program graph nodes plus 1. This is one scenario. Next one is messages minus module execution paths plus 1. That's what the second one. Messages minus full units plus 1. What is this particular full units and all those? See, first scenario, that is both ordinary program graph edges and messages minus ordinary program graph nodes plus 1, that is what the value that we are having it. So if you just check out how many such edges are available with respect to this scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Once again the same thing. 17, 18, 19. According to me, it will be coming around 19 itself. But how come they have got the value as 27? Because I have taken only with respect to the path that I was traversing. So 19 was the answer that we got it, right? So we have left out so many other particular paths also, right? Edges. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. With respect to this, 25 will be the path or the edges that I am having it. Just check out once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So totally 27 edges are available. If you are taking it completely, means 27 edges are available. Nodes in the similar fashion, all the particular nodes you need to just have it. How many nodes that you are having it with respect to this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 22 edge, 22 nodes are present. So whole thing that you are considering plus 1. So it gives you the answer as 6. So with respect to 6 months, you need to have an edge outside it also, right? So the same thing, if you are having it with respect to your messages minus only the messages, if you are taking it, means it will give you the negative value. Negative value means it's of no use, so it will not work. So the second one, that is messages minus module execution unit plus 1, will be failed. Whereas the third one is messages minus full units plus 1. Full units is nothing but how many different modules that you have. 3 modules you are having it, right? A, B, C. A, B, C. So 3 modules. How many messages? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 minus 3 plus 1 will give you the answer. That is also possible. That's also one of the way. But here the complexity will be changing. So it is very difficult for us to choose which one is correct. According to me, if you are asking, means I'll take the first particular scenario, that is both ordinary program graph nodes, graph edges and the messages minus ordinary program graph nodes plus 1 will give you the exact answer, whatever we wanted to achieve. So according to our particular path, if you are just considering it, you need to at least, you need to go with executing both ordinary program graph nodes and the messages minus ordinary program graph nodes plus 1 will give you the exact answer. Okay, so that's how it will be just checking out with respect to the path for calculating the cyclometric complexity. That ends with respect to all these particular scenarios. The comparison has been given with respect to different stages of integration testing. One is functional decomposition. With respect to this, ability to test interfaces acceptable but can be deceptive. That means there are so many other unwanted edges will be there or unreached edges will be there, so that cannot be addressed properly with respect to your functional decomposition. That's why ability to test interfaces, yes, agree to the extent. But ability to test co-functionality limited to the pairs of units will be happening with respect to your functional decomposition. Fault isolation and resolution, yes, it's a good one with respect to your faulty unit. But call graph, if you are doing it, ability to test the interfaces acceptable. Completely it will do it. There is no chance of removing any one of the edges, either by using neighboring pair or neighboring or pairwise nodes. Any one you can just go with it. Ability to test co-functionality limited to the pace of units itself. The same thing what we are facing the problem with respect to functional testing, the same thing will happen. Fault isolation and resolution, good to a faulty unit. If it is a faulty unit, then it is good to apply call graph, or you can just go with functional decomposition. But path, ability to test the interfaces, each particular phase will be addressed because all the particular scenario is taken care with respect to messages as well as the number of nodes that you are having it. So that's why ability to test the co-functionality, yes, agree, completely it will be done. Fault isolation resolution, excellent to a faulty unit. Execution path will take you to that particular scenario. So according to us, path will give you the best particular scenario when compared to remaining two particular categories with respect to the integration testing. Functional decomposition, it is based on your top down, bottom up, as well as sandwich, or else you can just go with one more scenario called as Big Bang theorem or Big Bang theory. So based on that also it will be just functioning. So in that there are some particular faulty things that is available, that is ability to test the interfaces not completely done, ability to test core functionality limited to that particular pair of units that you are just considering it, not to the whole. So for with respect to your it is complete. So this is what they are saying it at the end. If you are going with integration testing, always better to go with drawing the path and getting the best use of it. So that's it. That's the end of this particular unit. So till this one, you'll be having for your internals. So if you have any doubt, you can ask, or else I'll just try to wind up the class. Yeah, any doubt? Hello? 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 If you don't have any doubt, we can just wind up. Okay.